So I was able to go into art school. This is in 1959. I was 15. No qualification entries at all, just there. And within 2 weeks I was in the life room drawing naked ladies, and I thought, this is fantastic. But nerve-wracking at the same time. So after I left college, stayed there for 4 years, did an art teacher's thing, and I taught for 5 years. And after that I thought, I'm doing all this teaching, and it was working quite well, and I just thought, well, I'm doing nothing myself, so I said I want to give it up. And I managed to get in to work as a graphic artist first in RTÉ, and I stayed in RTÉ for 15 years. In RTÉ I had a fantastic choice, everything from sport to light entertainment. I liked a lot the light entertainment, graphic design shows, documentaries, all the title sequences, all the mappings, all the superimposed names and so on. It was lovely work actually, and it was a great campus to work in actually. It was very airy and spacey. I suppose, well, I did a title for the Late Late Show and a few other big shows, but the big thing I did was introduce the kind of introduction of computer graphics. 1977 was the first computer graphics. There was a graphic of Ireland splitting up into the word election, which I did, and it was the first piece of computer stuff that went on in this country, and it's incredibly crude when you look at it now. I actually got on really well with Gay Byrne. I sometimes found him a bit kind of overbearing when he was on the radio a lot, but working with him was actually very, very easy. He was easygoing. And the owl was there all the time, so I decided, well, I'll have to take a new take on this. So I did a technique called rotoscoping, which is probably out of date now. It's a system where you just double frame all your pictures as they go down, and that's where the swooping owl came. I did that in 1979 or 1980, and it stayed as the title sequence for about 4 years, and then they moved on. But the owl is always there somewhere. And that's the key to the Late Late. I mean, yes, it's lovely to kind of make a thing like that that's seen by lots of people. Or, you know, or I remember in England being on the train and looking at title sequences that I'd done on BBC and looking at them in the sitting rooms as they would pass by in the train thinking, yeah, you know, yeah, I did the opening title sequence for the Montreal 1976 games, and I just did a series of iconic Greek statues juxtaposed with live action of actual athletics, and with some bit of funky music about which I can't remember. But that's the sequence I did for Montreal. So yeah, I loved it. It was good fun making it. That was always the best part of the work. It was Steinbeck machines, getting soundtracks, choosing music, persuading conservative producers this is the music you want. That was one of the most exciting parts of the job, actually. When I left the Beeb, I just thought that had been a very sort of narcissistic time, and that was a terrific career. I mean, it was the last really good job I had. And I came back here with an idea of teaching, lecturing at third level, which I did. I used to do modules in different colleges, but the one thing that I really did that I enjoyed enormously was a program called Art Access, which we got funded by the Horizon Programme Initiative, and we set up 3 things. Art Reach, which was done through rehab centres all over Ireland. We got to about at least 2,000 students on 6-month courses on doing art. Now this is not art therapy, this is just doing art. And then we did a 2-year course in Dún Laoghaire called you know, it was just an extension of the whole Art Access program, and that lasted about 3 or 4 years, and it was certainly very humbling and interesting experience, and I was really glad to have done it. And that led to a lot of work I did actually in the disability sector, which is still to this day and nearly always a very neglected area. I mean, people in wheelchairs spend most of their time inside their houses, and you know, there's just not really any decent consciousness around people with disabilities. When you consider how many there are, it's an appalling business. So anyway, being able to do a lot of art with them was probably the most rewarding thing that I've done career-wise. I really, really thought it was a good thing to do. Enjoyed it. A lot of the photographs I took were when I was starting to work in TV. I bought a camera, an Exacta camera with an Agenu lens from a very eccentric man in Bray called Hedley Wright. And with that camera I took nearly all the photographs that I now have in my portfolio. It's not a matter of photography or graphics or paint, it's just visual. I'm just involved in visual stuff. That's it. I mean, and that encompasses a lot. I don't want to get labelled or hooked or preoccupied particularly with one aspect of what I do. I'm just trying to ignore the word retirement, trying to live on a pension which is now being bitten into by Brexit, you know, so I'm broke. So who's not, I hear you say. So it's just part of a rounded life. I don't want to I'm not being an artist, you know, painting pictures and taking pictures and whatever. It's just part of trying to live a kind of harmonious life.
And would you have any advice for anybody watching this? A huge thank you to Graham there for sharing his story with all our viewers and inviting me into his home. What a truly fascinating and talented character he is. It is now time for a bit of music on Wicklow County Matters as we meet an Arklow-based musician who just shot a music video in the States.